don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You do not consider him a legitimate president. Why is that?
I think the Russians participated in helping this man get elected.
Do you believe Trump is a legitimate president?
What I believe is that there's no question that the outcome of this election was affected by the Russian interference with the campaign, and because our intelligence community has unequivocally stated that Russia's intent was to influence the outcome of the election in favor of Donald Trump, I believe, one, that the investigation that the United States Senate is going to do into the relationship and interaction potentially between the Trump campaign and Russian officials, that's essential. Yeah. But I think there's no question that the outcome of this election was affected by Russian interference with the campaign.
Director Clapper says, quote, "Of course, the Russian efforts affected the outcome of the presidential election. Surprising even themselves, they swung the election to a Trump win. To conclude otherwise stretches logic, common sense, and credulity to the breaking point."
You're a member of the Judiciary. Do you believe the president right now has been an agent of the Russians?
Yes, I think there's more evidence than he is. Yes, and I think all the arrows point in that direction, and I haven't seen a single piece of evidence that he's not.
The American people deserve to know who they elected to be their president. They deserve to know if he's in fact putting America's interests first. They deserve to know if Donald Trump is, wittingly or unwittingly, an agent for the Russian Federation.
The American people deserve to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. This is a serious national security investigation. 17 different intelligence agencies concluded that Russia interfered with our election, attacked our democracy, in order to try and artificially place Donald Trump at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's a very serious thing.
As you know, the IC was a coordinated product from 3 agencies, CIA, NSA, and the FBI, not all 17 components of the intelligence community. Those 3. We decided it was a conscious judgment to restrict it to those 3.
It was the consensus of all the intelligence agencies and law enforcement.
17 federal intelligence agencies.
The intelligence community and all of its component parts, 17 agencies.
17 of our intelligence agencies have confirmed.
The intelligence communities have concluded, all 17 of them, that Russia interfered with this election. And we all know how that's right.
Senator Franken, there were only 3 agencies that directly involved in this assessment, plus my office.
But all 17 signed on to that.
Well, we didn't go through that process.
Which I think 16 of our intelligence agencies have already agreed to say. And there's no doubt that the Russians did interfere in the election. And I think the interference, although not yet quantified, if fully investigated, would show that Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
You can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows he's an illegitimate president.
He knows that he's an illegitimate president.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did, and I take responsibility for those parts of it that I should.
I was on the way to winning until the combination of Jim Comey's letter on October 28th and Russian WikiLeaks.
Guys over in Macedonia who are running these fake news sites, certainly misogyny played a role. I take responsibility for every decision I made, but that's not why I lost.
Baseless claims by the president and his supporters that there's been widespread voter fraud and that the election was somehow rigged or stolen from President Trump. That kind of rhetoric is extremely dangerous, extremely poisonous to our democracy.